Hi, everybody. This is John Farian with Live Large Universe, and I've got another amazing show for you tonight. I've got Diz all the way in from Colorado. He's here in the background, waiting to come on and talk to you guys in a minute, but we have some business to take care of. So all of you guys, as you're coming in, make sure you go in the comments and let us know where you're watching from. So it's awesome when we get to see the comments of people tuning in from Wisconsin or Colorado or Utah or Washington or wherever you're at. Drop it in. It also lets us know who's watching because your name pops up at the same time. But we've got some things going on. If you guys share that out, we've got a share and win contest going on, and you can see we've got a backcountry first aid kit from Mountain Lab. They're our show sponsor tonight. They're going to help us, get out the prize here that we're going to be able to give away. So, by the way, the show that I did 2 weeks ago with Rick from Altitude Sickness, I've got his first aid kit that I need to give away yet too. I was supposed to have done that before tonight. I haven't yet, but I'll get to it either later tonight or tomorrow. I'm going to try to give that a shot. So we'll get back to that. But again, for sharing the show, watching the show tonight, getting here and sharing it out, let us know where you're watching from. Share the show out, and you're going to be entered in to win. And so the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is we have a very, very special opportunity for you guys. We have a special promo code for the Avalanche Alliance sweepstakes that's going on right now. So from now, I think it's till December 8th, if I remember right, is the kind of the last day of the contest. And then we're going to be giving away a sled, the snowmobile here, the Arctic Cat snowmobile. We're going to give away a Marlon sled deck. We've got a Climb, a professional, kit or pack from, Climb, where you got an avalanche pack, you got riding gear, helmets, boots, gloves, the whole works. You get a whole setup from them. And then BCA is actually throwing down. They also have some prizes, but 30% more tickets are going to be able to, you're going to get access to by going in and clicking into the link that I have in the show notes tonight. And when you guys do that with that link, you're going to get 30% more tickets. So Diz, what do you think? I'm going to bring you on camera here. Let's add you on. And Diz, what do you think of that Avalanche Alliance sweepstakes? I mean, you've been watching us do this for a few years now, and we're raising money for avalanche centers. We're raising money for avalanche education scholarships. Have you seen an impact in your area with all the work that we've been doing with Avalanche Alliance?
Yeah, definitely. I've been seeing you guys popping up everywhere, and it's really cool to see a bunch of companies coming together to promote avalanche safety. And I mean, the prize packs are crazy that they do. I know it kind of varies from year to year, but
Yeah.
definitely something to get involved with.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the show, Diz. It's so good to have you on again. Is this the second or third time you've been on before? I know for sure once at least.
I think just the second time we talked about spring fling many years ago, and
Yep.
thank you for that. Before we get too far, is it your birthday today?
It was Friday actually. I turned
Oh, okay.
I turned
Happy birthday, happy belated birthday.
the big 50. So
Nice.
the big 50. I turned finally. I don't know. Like I don't know if there's any benefits to turning 50. I think maybe 5 more years I start getting some other new benefits. But right now I'm just simply old. That's all there is to it.
There you go. You know, you don't have to be any age to join AARP.
Oh really? I thought you had to be 55 plus or something.
Nope. I learned that from the Gen Zers. Anybody can join.
Yeah, well, you and I were talking before the show. We had all these like cool team names that we had for our riding groups back in the day. We're gonna have to come up with some AARP sled groups now, huh?
That's right. We could get Johnny Bushman involved. I think he has the motto: "Gray hair don't care."
Very cool, very cool. Well, hey, everybody who's watching right now, please go in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Just drop it in. Let us know what state or city you're watching from. And do me a favor, we want to get this word out about the SnoMo Expo in Colorado out to the world, and especially those folks in Colorado. So do me a favor, share the show out. You'll be entered in to win that first aid kit that we had there earlier if you guys share this out. But Diz, let's just talk a little bit for if anybody's been living under a rock and don't know who you are. Why don't you do a little intro for us and let us get to know you a little bit before we dive into the whole expo background and what's going on. So
yeah, no problem. I found snowmobiling kind of later in my life, so I didn't really start snowmobiling until 2007, really serious kind of 2008, so not until in my mid-30s.
yeah.
And luckily I started in Colorado. We have such a great community here, and they were so welcoming, inviting me to ride and showing me the areas. This is before GPS and social media and stuff. So I had a really great introduction to the sport, and as I progressed into it, I kind of started working with 509, doing some filming projects for them and stuff, and worked with some of the other companies like Thunderstruck, and kind of made my own movies for a while, but kind of carved my way, into the industry. And almost right away, I wanted to do something to thank my buddies and, the people that I was riding with and filming. So we started throwing kind of an annual party called Spring Fling, and then that morphed into this really big charity event.
Yep.
So every year we have close to 1,000 people camping out in the mountains and raising every year probably 25 to 30,000 for the Colorado SnoMobile Association. And so I kind of have multiple paths through snowmobiling, and it's just been amazing to get to meet everybody and have so much support on all the things I've done in the past. So
Yeah. In the past, when I think your kids were younger, I don't know if you've done it the last few years, but you've made kind of an annual spring camping road trip, right? And I think I bumped into you one time here in Leavenworth, Washington. I was walking down the street,
yeah,
and I'm like, I know that guy. And you looked at me and you said,
you're
I
with
know that guy.
you're with your wife and kids even. So
Yep,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. For many years, I went on almost like a 40-day road trip with my three daughters.
Yep.
Sadly, as I got older, so did they, and they've moved out. One of my daughters in Chicago studying architecture, and then
Yep.
another daughter's moved out. So they don't really want to hang out with me for 30 days at a time anymore. So
Yeah, no,
those are just
yeah.
memories now.
Yeah, and I think it's a good reminder for all of us, though. Like, life lessons are like, man, when you have the opportunity to hang out with your kids and do things, take advantage of it, because life moves fast, life changes fast, and you're going to have a new experience with your family as you go on in your life. But those memories you're gonna have forever. So, live large, as I say, right? Live life. Live life to the fullest, make the most of every day, and make a difference to others. That's what I keep preaching,
That's
right?
right.
So,
well, my youngest daughter just last week turned 16 and got her driver's license.
Very
So
good.
it has ended. It's a total era change for me. After 22 years of driving my kids around, I have all this extra free time,
Awesome.
which fit perfectly into needing to do the expo.
Yeah, I loved your share post the other day. You went from like having nothing to do, calm, cool, and collected, to like just being a giant, massive stress situation. So, I get it. Like, I just recently put on my own event here. An annual event I do too is we call it Sled Bash for our
Right.
Northwest Avalanche Center. It's a fundraiser, similar to what you're doing in Colorado, but not to the same scale yet at this point. But we put on the event, but this year we invited vendor. So a smaller scale of what you're trying to do. It was busy enough, and so I can't imagine. Hopefully you have an army. Hopefully you have an army of people behind you that are supporting you a little bit. Is that true?
I've been doing it completely by myself up to this point. I did tap my three main buddies that helped me with Spring Fling.
Gotcha.
So Tim Patton, he's flying out actually from Utah just to work the show.
Nice.
And then Cody Jensen, who helps me with Spring Fling, and then David Manus. So
Perfect.
I've roped them into. I've kind of got everything I think lined
Yeah.
up to be a smooth show, but there's lots of stuff that we need to do, checking in vendors, and
Yeah.
that's more than a one-man job. So I brought them on board, and then I did hire out a lot of the work.
Good deal. Good.
Like
Well, I'm sure
tickets and security.
your top 3 to 5 volunteers there. I'm sure you doubled their pay, their salary from Spring Fling, right? Like, you doubled their salary.
I do. Why I get such good grade help is I do pay.
Oh, do you actually? Okay. Most time that's volunteer stuff. So I was actually joking there, but that's awesome if they're getting compensated a little
No,
bit. So.
that's one of the things I've always been kind of strong on. David actually does volunteer, but I do try to pay the guys, even at Spring Fling,
Yeah.
give them a little bit of money so that they're not
Yeah.
feeling like I'm holding them,
Holding them down.
over the coals, making them do it. But they would do it for no money, So
Yeah. It's all good.
You're a great group of guys. So.
Awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about the background of the Colorado Snow Show. It's been going on for years, if not decades at this point. Give us a little history of the Colorado Snow Show, and then what changed this last year. Kind of bring us up to this year and why the big change. So.
Right. Well, it's probably been going on longer than I've snowmobiled, which I started, like I said, about 2007, 2008. And it was done by like a typical promoter that, that did like trade shows and expos. I don't think they had any kind of tie to snowmobiling. And it was actually in a different place, a place called the Denver Merchandise Mart. It's kind of a little bit smaller. And then that promoter, I think it's been like 14 years, sold it to Snowgoer Magazine, which is kind of a popular, maybe more East Coast magazine. They do a lot of technical stuff, so a lot of people get it all over the United States.
I'm from Minnesota, so I was a subscriber for a period of
there
time.
you go.
I knew all about Snowgoer.
And they actually did a great job.
Yeah,
they moved it from the Merchandise Mart and over to the National Western Complex, which is this huge facility in Denver, a kind of a nicer building, bigger building with really high ceilings, so you can start bringing trailers in and things like that. And they did a really good job. I think it's got to be at least a decade, maybe 14 years if my math's out. And they probably 3 or 4 years ago got bought out by like a kind of, I don't know if the conglomerate's the right word, or they have a parent company that was buying up some magazines. And so that higher power decided that they didn't want to put on the show anymore. It had become a lot of work.
Yeah.
They're not from the area, so they all have to come out here for the show, and I bet that's an extra expense that they would have to incur. So unbeknownst to me, they had been shopping it around. I never knew that. I guess they had contacted, I'm assuming Snow West Magazine, who does the Utah shows. And
Yeah.
I don't know if the price was wrong or people just weren't interested, but they never found a buyer, and it just kind of quietly
Faded
wasn't
away.
going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, they didn't say anything, or they didn't make a big. I never heard about it. I don't know who they might have told, but and then as it got closer, some of the vendors that come to Spring Fling were kind of reaching out to me, going, "Hey, did you hear about the snow show? I've worked for 509 since about 2009 at all the Western, the Utah, sometimes Boise, and the Denver shows, helping run the 509 booth. So I'd been to all the shows. I kind of knew everybody, but they reached out and were like, "Hey, have you heard anything about the show?" And I was like, I haven't actually, but that's not unusual because I just kind of show up. Someone else, corporate 509, takes care of the, setting up their booth and paying, making the arrangements. So I kind of started looking into it a little bit, and then Cade Beck from Snow Big Deal reached out to me with the same concerns. "Hey, have you heard anything?" And so I kind of started asking around, and I heard that, indeed the show wasn't going on. One of the places I went and looked was the National Western Complex has a calendar. And so I went to look at that calendar, and it had a snow show on there. So I was kind of perplexed. I reached out to TKI, who also comes to Denver every year. And they actually ended up calling Snowgoer Magazine, "Hey, what's going on? Is there, a show happening?" And that's the first person that told me that, indeed, no, there would not be a show this year. It was just not in their operating plan for 2024. I was like shocked. It's just been such second nature to go to.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the kickoff to winter, and you get to see all your friends and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So Ben at Summit Motorsports, and actually Jen and Tom from TKI, the Cobuses, were like, "You should do it. You could do it." And I'm like, "There's no way." I couldn't imagine the cost of it. I got this really, as I started to think about it, almost sick to my stomach. And if I get a feeling like that, it's almost like I have to do it. I was like, I know that if it's making me uncomfortable, then it's like, that's definitely something that you should do. So it's like my body telling me, you gotta
So
kind of
note to self, I'm getting sick. Do it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was snowmobiling. You get into that fear. You're like, "Oh my gosh, that line is kind of scary." And
that means I've got to do it.
Yeah, it means that's when I know that I'm going to do something good.
Or dumb, one or the other. Either way, it's going to be fun.
So I ended up just reaching out to the National Western Complex and asking them if they had a event booked. And they said, "Well, of course we do. It's an annual thing." And I'm like, "Have you talked to them?" And they had not. So they reached out to them and found out that, my battery's getting a little thing. I unplugged it. Here, let me plug this in real quick.
Yeah, no worries.
I reached out to them and found out that the weekend was booked. They ended up calling Snowgoer Magazine too, and found out that day that indeed they were not having a show.
Oh no.
So I got a quote for the building, and it was a crazy number. And I was like, "There's no." They're like, "Oh, you only have to put 50% down."
Only.
I was like, "There's no." Yeah. So I'll just tell you, it's $30,000 just to rent the wall and the floor of the building.
Yeah.
And they wanted 50% deposit. So
I
ended up pulling up the map from last year and looking who had the big footprints and who I knew personally. And so I kind of reached out to them, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to have a show?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Write me a check today."
Yeah.
And all of them did.
That's awesome.
There was 5 people that were really instrumental. And that was like TKI, Snow Big Deal, Summit Motorsports out of Utah. Who were a couple? There was a couple more. I can't remember right offhand. That ponied up right away, sent me a check, and it was enough for the deposit.
That's
And
awesome.
so once I put the deposit down, I pulled the list off of from last year and just started going down. I mean, I knew probably 80% of them
Yeah, yeah,
personally.
yeah, yeah.
So I had really good connections, and I just started talking to them, and everybody wanted in on it. I just said, I got to go for it.
That's awesome. Well, dude,
Yeah.
my next question was gonna be like, what inspired you to do it, but I think you've kind of covered that. So, let's just remind the people who are watching again. If you haven't, if you're here watching, I'm grateful that you're here watching. Thanks for being here. Go into the comments and just chime in and say where you're watching from, or just let us know you're there. Say hi so we see who's watching. And then do me one more favor: share the show out. We want to get the word out about the Colorado Snow Show, the SnoMo Expo, we're calling it, right? And it's a
Glad to
mouth,
rename it.
it's a mouthful, but it's awesome. I like it and it works. But we want to get the word out for this too, and we got only a week to go, and so we're just now about to start talking about, again, the details, the time and the date of the show, the plans, what you got going on. Diz here has like a laundry list of crazy cool, like, entry things he's doing. When you get there, some people get shirts, and we're gonna go through the
Yep, I
list
got
here,
my
right?
shirt. I got
Yep.
custom
Yep.
shirts that I had made, and you
Nice.
can't buy them.
No, they're
So
exclusive, limited edition.
yeah, I only made 300 of them, and I'm giving them all away.
Awesome.
So
Well, give
if
us
you
the
don't have
rundown.
spring-
Just like think about like if somebody doesn't know about the snow show yet and they're hearing this for the first time, or even if they do and they need to know stuff, let's just walk them through it. Just start talking. I'll interrupt as I need to. So.
All right, perfect. So I'm taking a different approach to this event. I think most are like companies that are running these things, and so
Yep.
everything's bottom line. If you've ever been to Spring Fling or heard of Spring Fling, it's all about free stuff, free
Yeah, yeah.
food, free
Yeah, yeah.
beer, free entertainment. We give out like $30,000 in prizes, and so I wanted to take that kind of same, hey, let's make this cool event to the Colorado SnoMo Expo, which you said was a mouthful, but it used to be called the Rocky Mountain Power Sports Exposition.
Oh yeah, way
So,
better, way better.
I think it's way better.
Yeah, yeah.
But so it is coming up on Friday and Saturday. So it's Friday from 4 to 9, October 25th, and then all day Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And again, I've taken a different approach. We kind of reduced the price. It used to be $12 to get in. We dropped it down to $10.
Okay.
Kids are free. And then we want to do giveaways. So I was trying to figure out how to do giveaways. There's a lot of complexity with the law if you're doing an event this size and you do a raffle and you got to da. So I'm like, let's just do free. I love free. Who doesn't love free? So every hour we have door prizes. You come in, you get your entry ticket, and then you get a door prize ticket. And again, I'm not a big company where bottom line doesn't matter. I'm putting over $10,000 back into these door prizes. So I got a Mantis Raw, which is like a Suron. I'm giving that away at the end of Saturday. Fox actually donated a set of shocks for a Ski-Doo, a full set. It's like $3,000 worth of shocks that we're
cool.
giving away on Saturday. But leading up to each end of Grand Prize Day, there's smaller prizes. And by smaller, I mean like head-to-toe 509 gear, head-to-toe Tubi gear. We've got an Ortovox electric Abbey pack. We got Oxbow gear. We got pipes, cans from Speedworks, and $500 gift cards from Mountainside Performance. TKI is getting involved. They've got all kinds of accessories. I think they might be even throwing in a belt drive.
Nice.
I've talked to Ice Age. They're throwing in a bunch of stuff. So we got all these door prizes going. That's kind of intended to keep people around to. You must be present to win. So we're kind of trying to keep people that are at this building a little bit longer.
Yep.
And then, again, we have these event shirts, but you can't buy them. So to get an event shirt, you have to be one of the first 30 people in line.
Yep.
So you're going to get a free shirt. And actually, Fox is sponsoring that as well. So they sent me a bunch of hoodies.
Well, you know
So
how
actually,
I gotta pause you because, like, you know how crazy people are about getting in line and waiting for free crap, right?
Yeah.
Like, right. So, what's your anticipation? Do you think it'll be a 3-hour, a 12-hour, a 24-hour,
I don't
a
think it'll
48-hour?
be anything like that this
You don't
year.
think someone's gonna show up and camp the night before in line? I bet you somebody will.
I would give them more than just a shirt if someone camped out front.
You guys heard it here
It's
first.
not in the nicest part of town, too. Denver can be a little hit or
Oh,
miss sometimes.
come on. Denver's beautiful. I've driven through it on the interstate really fast one time. Come on, it was awesome.
So, yeah, we're going to give away each day, like you said, 30 prize packs, and we're calling it the Fox Early Bird Special.
Cool.
You're going to get an event shirt, and then we're going to give away some Fox hoodies. We have a bunch of different sizes. We have some Fox jackets, too. So it's going to do something special for people that come early. And some people really love the event shirts. we've been doing the ones at Spring Fling since 2014, and they sell out every year. We make 400 or 500 of them.
Yeah.
And so also, if you show up to this event wearing a Spring Fling shirt,
Ooh.
you're going to get a free event shirt too.
Wow, look at that.
So I'm going to be rewarding while supplies last. And then we got a great lineup of speakers.
Nice. Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the seminar speakers.
Yep, every hour we got a different speaker. And this is, again, I think how I do things a little bit different. I've spoken at a show before. You may have spoken at a show, given a talk.
Yep.
I hired people to speak. So I'm paying everybody that's doing a seminar.
Awesome.
Typically you have to volunteer. So the first night we kick it off with Chris Brandt.
Very cool.
Who was kind enough. His daughter has a big hunt the next morning, her first elk hunt. And I thought he was going to maybe end up canceling because it was kind of a conflicting date. But he said it was really important for him to come. And he was going to switch over to Friday night and then go hunting Saturday with his daughter. So we're really stoked to have him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then Jen McPherson, who's kind of a local legend, female rider here. She works with Matt Ents at Mountain Skills.
Yep, I'm very familiar.
Does a lot of guiding rides for climb. She's going to do a talk on how to ride with your partner, which can be a delicate situation.
That's an important conversation that I know a lot about because I ride with my wife almost all the time, right? Like 99% of my rides are with my wife, and so it is a dynamic that I know comes up a lot. So that'll be an interesting topic to be addressed. So that's cool.
Yeah, and she's an amazing rider. So on top of that, she's going to give some tips on women riders, how to get around and I always joke it's like how to deal with boys' sensitive egos while the women dominate.
Exactly.
Because they do. She rides with Kim Onash a lot. And they are some pretty talented riders. So, and then we're going to wrap up the Friday night with Brian Lundstedt doing some avalanche talks.
Yep.
Which is going to be awesome. He's Tyler's backcountry, and then we have a whole lineup on Saturday starting at that 9 a.m. Oh, sorry, starting at 10 a.m. We have there's a bunch speaking, but we start out with some CSA meetings, some general board meeting stuff for the state club, and then we roll into we got the ARI, was the avalanche community. They are
yep. I'm very intimately aware of them. I'm actually part of their motorized advisory committee, and I've started the scholarship that I've started the scholarship with them, and Avalanche Alliance. We fund the scholarship through ARI, and they're an amazing organization. So they're super involved in the snowmobile community these days. So.
Yeah, so they have a booth, and they also do a talk. We got the 10th Special Forces happen to do a lot of training here in Colorado. So we have the military coming in to do like winter survival talk.
That's awesome.
Matt Ents is going to do like guiding talk about what he carries in his pack every day.
Who's that Matt Ents guy? I've never heard of her.
Yeah, he's not a guide. Actually.
Oh, him. Oh, okay.
Instructor.
Oh,
instructor. Yeah, that's what's so cool about his operation. If you've ever
everybody knows Matt Ents is like thebomb.com. So no, I love Matt. I love Matt. He's a good friend as well too. So he's awesome. So
yeah, so it's really a packed lineup all the way through the day. So we're stoked about that.
Yep.
And we actually picked up also 20 more vendors this year from last year.
Yeah.
I reached out to a lot of my friends that hadn't been coming for a few years, like Bikeman and Speedworks and Black Diamond. So
do you have a full vendor list in front of you there somewhere you can read them off? Because I think people would love to know who the vendors are if you have them, but if you don't,
I do. I can pull it up real quick here.
Sure.
It's on a separate screen though. You can still see me when I pull this up.
Yep. I can see you.
Let me just open it up here.
So any of the big OEMs, as you're typing that up, I mean, is Skidoo, Arctic Cat, Polaris, any of those guys all going to be there or no?
Yeah, so Arctic Cat is coming with Front Range Motorsports, and they're bringing their the new 858s.
Yep.
And unfortunately, though, there was kind of like a lull. There was like a 6 to 8 week lull when there was no show, and then where I had created the show. And so Polaris was kind of bummed. They had kind of shifted their schedule already, and so they are unable to come this year. And then Skidoo actually, I don't think they had actually even planned to come this year. They pulled out a bunch of shows, and they're kind of scaled back this year. But I did talk to like the big people in charge, and they're really interested in coming back next year. I just explained to them, back of the bus, people that supported me from day one are going to have priority. No, they're always welcome.
No, of course.
So it was just a timing thing, I think, with both of them. So
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll come back next year. If we have a successful show this year, which I plan to,
Yep.
we're going to build on it and do some other things. We want to try to add freestyle, ramp freestyle there, and
Yeah.
couple other interesting things in the works. But
Yeah. I'll take a little like as you're pulling up that list there. I just want to share something just kind of from the personal note, and it's my observation. I've been working quote unquote corporate America for years, and I would tell you that the companies and the jobs I have, like general mainstream America business, all that kind of stuff, like we all know the economy sucks right now, but I would tell you that it's even more amplified in a power sport like snowmobiling, right? Like the snowmobiling is absolutely I would call it a luxury sport. It's something that people don't have to do. It's something they want to do. And a lot of times I have to do it. Otherwise I would go insane in the membrane, right? Like that would happen. But the reality is like the snowmobile industry has probably been hit as bad or worse than every other part of the economy we know has already been hit bad. And I think, challenging everybody who's watching this and sharing this out to just get out and support all of these businesses at the snow show. Like the first step is just to be there and show up, right? Like have a presence. When these vendors show up to a show like this and they see the aisles are full and people are shopping, like it just helps them double down and reinvest into the sport that we all love and keep things going. If we all give up on these snow shows and don't attend them, guess what? The vendors won't be here next year. And then eventually this whole thing's going to just kind of fizzle out. And we don't want that. We want to get this sport kicked off. I think we're going to have a good snow year again this year, I hope. Washington was terrible last year. I think it was around a lot of the country. And it really impacted us. Like even snowmobile registrations have been down the last couple of years, and our budgeting has been cut. We're closing snow parks in Washington. Fingers crossed, hopefully just temporarily. But these shows are kind of the heart of our sport, and whether it be businesses, small businesses, attendees, people who are passionate about the sport, we need to keep this thing moving and keep it alive. So please get out and support your local snow show, whether it be in Colorado or any other part of the country you're in. So.
Yeah, they just had a show in Utah last 2 days, but that was a Snow West show. Yep. They said it was a pretty good show, but again, I don't think BRP was there, and it's like, I agree. If we don't all show up, then they're going to stop seeing the value in it too. So.
Absolutely. Well, who are people going to see in Colorado? You got a list now in front of you.
You ready for this list?
I am.
It's kind of long, but I'll roll through it.
Any particular order, or is it randomized?
This is an alphabetical order.
Alphabetical order. Let's go with that.
Or what order would you like?
No. I just didn't know if, like if it was just random, if it was alphabetical, if it was the biggest vendors to the smallest vendors. Like you tell me what you're going to do. Alphabetical works for me.
I have a beautiful spreadsheet in front of me with their booth size, their location, their name. But let's just do alphabetical so it's
perfect.
Even,
Yep. That way we're fair with everybody, right?
I already mentioned it. It was the 10th Special Forces Group. That's the military. 3C Guiding, which is Cameron Schminty out of Wyoming. Of course, 509. And then I actually have, I think, 3 booths that aren't snowmobile, but I have Action Water Sports, who is a big boat dealership.
Nice.
So we're actually going to have the new Natique, the surf boat, in there just to check out, kind of something different.
Very cool.
Of course, Aries going to be there. The All-American Heroes Foundation, which is a great charity organization.
Very familiar.
All-Terrain Motorsports, Alpine Motorsports, which is Eric Woog Voke, as everybody knows.
Yep.
Then we got Arrowhead Mountain Lodge, BCA, Bikeman, Black Diamond Extreme. We got the Blue Ribbon Coalition. And then, of course, for all these charity groups like Blue Ribbon Coalition and Aerie, we donated their booths to them.
Very cool.
Because I think education and keeping the riding areas open is really important. So, Blue Ribbon Coalition, Brap Raps, Colorado Free Riders, which is a new club that's a nonprofit club that started here in Colorado. Great bunch of guys.
Nice.
Colorado Mountain Rental, Colorado Parks and Wildlife. You got to keep them happy. We'll have a booth there. We got like tattoos, and I bought like 3,000 stickers, different stickers. So we have a booth where everything's free.
Am I able to get a Diz tramp stamp while I'm there as a tattoo? Is that an option or no?
It's funny because we just did an event at 509 and we had real tattooers there. And we had like 10, maybe 15 little simple line drawing tattoos you can get.
Yeah.
And people got 509 tattooed.
That's
and
insane.
Like mountains and different snowmobiling ones. So I would love to have a tattooer out there with just everybody. It was like $50 tattoos. I was shocked how many people got
That is pretty
a
amazing.
509 tattoo that didn't work there or anything. They were just customers.
That's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah. All right, we got Coulter Lake Guest Ranch, Fly High Fire Starters. We got the Friends of the CAIC, which is the CAIC,
Colorado.
which is our avalanche forecasters.
Center. Yep.
So they do a lot of fundraising. Front Range Power Sports with ArctiCat will be there. The Grand Lake Visitor Center, Grand Mesa Lodge. We got an AmSoil dealer called House of Sin, coming all the way out from Minnesota, actually.
Nice.
Which was cool. K-Mod, which is suspension and stuff.
Yep.
Kurtz Polaris. Kurtz Polaris actually donated it's not a Suron, but it's basically a Suron. It's called a Mantis Roar. They donated. It's a $5,000 e-motorcycle.
Nice.
So
nice.
we'll be giving that away Saturday night. We've got the Mile High Snowmobile Club, the Montana Snowmobile Association, which is awesome that they come down and promote riding
amazing.
out there.
Yep.
We got the Moto Mountain School that does Abbey training, Moto Frugals, Mountainside Performance, Mountain Skills, Muff Stuffers is our buddy that makes muff pot meals for your muff.
Yep, I've heard
pot.
of it.
Yeah, he makes gourmet meals. They're so bomb. It's like braised beef.
Very cool.
Mashed potatoes, so good. We got Octane Inc., Ortovox, Oxbow Gear, Pro Lab. We got Rocky Mountain Sled Conditions. Everybody knows.
Yep. Brett Wolf.
Mr. Wolf over there doing all that work, helping us find the snow. We got Rocky Mountain Snow Motocross, which is Toby Till and all the snow bikes and stuff.
Okay.
And then we got a lifestyle brand, Send It. We got Silver Turbo. I heard they're bringing their Turbo Harley and a Turbo ArctiCat 858 to the show, so I can't wait to see those. I may have seen them already.
Maybe.
We got Sled Diction, which is like a T-shirt company. Snow Big Deal, Snowy Range Snowmobile Club out of Wyoming. Speedworks, Summit Motorsports, the Summit Snow Riders, Thunderstruck Adventures. Everybody knew Thunderstruck. The film company and the owner has turned it into a big guiding operation out there outside of Steamboat. It's so awesome.
Yep, very cool.
Huge fleet of really nice, even turbo sleds and high performance mountain sleds.
Very cool.
TKI CNC, Tubi, Trails West Trailers, TRS, who are making that new power valve. I don't know if you've seen for the Polaris Boost for the airbox. Really cool part.
Cool.
Tyler's Backcountry Awareness, Upper Yellowstone Snowmobile Club out of Montana. And then we got Vega Lodge, Weekender Sports, and then last but not least, XMR Racing, who do like vintage oval racing still.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's a pretty stacked little lineup there.
Yeah, stacked and packed. I love it.
Yeah. There we go. Back to us now.
Yeah, very good.
So yeah, I'm hoping it all goes through. We were talking about the shirts earlier and stuff, and I'm taking kind of a different approach to the event. So the real customers are the vendors for me, right? So I got to do everything I can to make them happy. That's why I'm trying to give as much I can to people coming through the door to get more people through the door and keep the vendors happy. So that's my goal.
Well, every single person has an opportunity to make a difference, and I would challenge everybody who's watching this or sees this in the next few days as we get closer to the event, share this. A simple single share on your personal page, on one of your favorite club pages, especially focused in around Colorado. Any of the Snowmobile Club groups or pages or wherever you're at, put the word out. Grab the poster, the flyer that Diz has made here. It's all over the place. Share this episode out with folks. Let's get the word out about this amazing snow show and make it the best one in Colorado yet. Let's hope for that.
Best in the West.
Best in the West. Awesome. Diz, any final words, any final thoughts as we wrap this up? Anything you want to share with anybody before we close her down for the night?
Well, I want to start just by thanking the whole snowmobiling community for jumping behind me. The first even mention that I made of possibly doing this, I think that post got like 300 shares right away.
Massive. Awesome.
So the support of all those people kind of made it easier to kind of cross that line into uncomfortableness for myself. And then all the amazing vendors that a lot of them happen to be my friends that stepped up and, wrote checks and trusted me to put together an event that, it's not cheap for them to come. A lot of come from out of state. It can be, a $10,000 investment for them to come to one of these shows after they drive and get a booth and get a hotel. So, want to give a big special thanks to all those guys and gals. And then, of course, thanks to John for having me on the show again. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.
It really helps to get the word out to kind of different areas and different avenues. As many,
Yeah.
I do a lot of digital marketing. I got all the billboards in town, and I'm doing Google ads. But having this personal kind of one-on-one thing is a different, I think
Angle.
it's just a different way to connect, a better way too. So I appreciate you having me on the show tonight.
Yeah. No, as soon as I saw what you're doing, I sent you a note and wanted to make sure if we can help share it. I mean, I knew you were going to be promoting the crap out of it, and if I can do if I can do one small favor and help you bring a few more people in, I guess that's what our goal is. So.
Yeah, no, but really do appreciate it. So thanks a lot for having me on.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being on tonight. Thank you everybody for watching and sharing the show tonight. And as I tell everybody, don't forget to get out there and live large, right? Live life to the fullest, make the most of every day, and do like Diz does, make a difference to others in the world. So God bless everybody. Have an amazing night. Diz, you can hang on. I'll talk to you here in a second. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye.